You, me, and HIFMB. Stories of Science and the Sea.
Welcome to the next episode of the HIFMB podcast, and this one is very special to us because I am right now sitting in the European Commission, in the Research Executive Agency, SERE, of the European Commission, because the next 2 days we will have a cluster event actually going on, the Marine Biodiversity Cluster event, where a bunch of projects that are funded by Horizon Europe, or by the European Commission, they come together and actually form this cluster and actually get to network, share talks, share problems, talk with a lot of the European Commission themselves are here. So a lot of the officers from various DGs, so Director Generals of the European Commission, they're all here. So they're basically meeting, we're all meeting together, we're discussing various problems such as restoration and bycatch. And I am actually getting two guests from this whole thing. So one person from an NGO who's working one of the projects, and one person who's actually working at the European Commission at one of the DGs. I'm getting them on the podcast and actually chat to them about their lives, their careers, the event here. This is a really cool episode, or 2 episodes. We'll split them into 2. And I hope you like it. Enjoy, and all the best from Brussels. Today I talked to Sahar Stevenson-Jones, who works at SERE, or the Society for Ecological Restoration Europe, and she is based in Trondheim, Norway. Now I have Sahar Stevenson-Jones in front of me, who will tell us a bit about why she's here. Hi.
Hi, my name is Sahar. I work for the Society for Ecological Restoration Europe as the Marine Restoration Project Officer.
Okay.
And in SERE we work with 2 marine restoration projects, Klimarest and Redress, which are both Horizon EU projects, and they are also both Mission Ocean projects.
So how does this work? You are part of the funding?
We're consortium members of those projects.
Okay.
And so we are here today because obviously restoration is number 1 on our agenda, and standardization of restoration is number 1 on our agenda.
Yeah.
But also having a voice for standardization of restoration in a cluster like this is very, very important for SERE.
Fantastic. And so the Marine Cluster event to you brings what exactly?
It brings together many, many projects.
Yeah.
I think over 30 projects were represented here today, and puts us in a position between those projects and the policymakers, and shines a light on this standardization for restoration particularly. But I know that there are a lot of projects here that are not focusing on restoration.
Yeah.
If we want to achieve 30 by 30, we need to move fast, as everyone has been saying today.
Yeah, the famous Target 3 from the Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD.
So we are here today because we are curious as to where we can fit in, and because we want to be part of this.
Exactly, on that topic, fitting in. So I came here with the podcast today to talk to people on the science policy interface. Where do you sit on that? Do you consider yourself a scientist or a policymaker or somewhere in between or neither?
I think I don't consider myself as either.
Okay.
Even though I have a background in science.
Ah, yeah? Okay.
But I think SERE thinks of themselves as sitting in the middle of science and policy. So we have this fabulous network, Europe-wide network, but also a global network because we're part of a global institution.
Yeah.
That has these fingers in lots and lots of countries and lots of pies.
Yeah.
But we also have these fingers that stretch up into policy as well. So SERE itself sits in many working groups that are Commission-led and expert groups that are Commission-led, and they were an integral part of even getting the nature restoration regulation into law. But we also have direct connections with practitioners on the ground. And that's a really beautiful place to sit because you have the voices, you are a means by which you can translate the voices up So yeah, I guess that's where SERE sits.
Yeah, fantastic answer. Where does it physically sit? Like, where's the base?
We don't have a physical base.
You don't? Okay.
Officially, we are Brussels.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
So
but then everyone works remotely.
Okay. And you mentioned global. Does that mean that really you attach to, let's say, global seas equally, or do you have a focus on more European things?
So the Society for Ecological Restoration Europe has a Europe focus,
of course, yes.
But
sorry.
The Society for Ecological Restoration is an international network.
Yeah.
And we have chapters across the world, in Australasia, in America, in networks in Asia. So it's amazing. Africa as well, yeah.
How big is your NGO?
I think we're 600 plus members in Europe.
Oof, okay.
So more than that across the world. It's a really beautiful thing to be part of. We had an annual conference last year in Tartu in Estonia, which is a beautiful place. You should definitely go.
Yeah, I have to.
And then there were 600 people in the conference attending, and they weren't all SERE members, but they were there as part of the community, and that was a beautiful thing to see. So yeah.
Who did you invite to, or who did they invite?
Lots and lots of people. So we had people from DG Environment who came and stayed for the whole week. Florian Claes stayed for the whole week, which was beautiful to see. He was so involved. And we had industry, we had agriculture, we had finances from the European Investment Bank, for example.
Yeah.
So we were able to draw a lot of people from a lot of places, which was fantastic.
Yeah,
really,
fantastic
really
indeed.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And nice to know that you stand there at the back of the room and you see all these faces pointing forwards, listening to this keynote speaker, thinking everyone here is doing the same thing. Like they are all here for the same reason, and that reason is a positive reason.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's joyful, especially in times like this.
Yeah. With restoration, what part does biodiversity play in all of this? Is it? I mean, of course, it's central to the whole question, but yeah. Maybe I'll let you answer instead of rambling.
I don't think that I can give you a coherent answer because if we had a good picture of biodiversity, if we looked at the environment that we have and saw a good picture of biodiversity, we wouldn't need to restore anything.
Yeah, okay. Good answer.
So it plays the central role, the only role, I think. Maybe.
Great. How did you get to SERE?
It's a very strange journey. I came from clinical pharmacy and education and training in clinical pharmacy, and then science communication. I was a chemistry teacher for 6 years. And then we moved to Norway. And I ended up working as a science communicator for the ClimaRest project, which is also a sister project to the Agora project, who are also here involved in the cluster conference. And then from there I moved to SERE. So,
I don't actually know much about the ClimaRest project, so it sounds like a climate-based project.
So the ClimaRest project is a Horizon Europe project, also a Mission Ocean project, and it's focusing on climate resilience. So coastal restoration actions with 5 demonstration sites across Europe, from Svalbard in the high Arctic to Madeira in the south. And it tries to bring together actionable restoration methodologies and implement them in demonstration sites, and then bring together the learning from those demonstration sites into a toolbox.
All right, the famous toolbox. What is it? Okay,
Well, I don't know whether it's in the context of this podcast, but the ClimaRest toolbox is hoping to bring together tools and resources, so both digital tools but also resources, and also to try and pool resources that already exist, from stakeholder engagement to guidance to policy to funding. So it's a really ambitious project, which is trying to pull all these things together, and it ends in November. So
I was going to ask. Okay,
it's got not much time to push all these things out, which is really exciting to see.
Sorry, how long has it been?
Started in 2022, I think. And then, or end of 2022, and now it's 3 years.
And they are Norway-based, or?
No. Well, the coordinators are based in Norway.
Okay.
An organisation called research institution called SINTEF,
Yeah.
Ocean,
Okay.
and then we have partners from across Europe. So France, Ireland, Madeira, Spain, and also in Norway.
Mhm.
So and Italy as well. Yeah, it's
All right.
really a fantastic group of people to work with.
Fantastic. And is that the first time you really engaged with marine research or with the sea?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Well, no, not engaged with the sea. I have a relationship with the sea.
Yeah.
I have had a relationship with the sea for many, many years.
Okay.
My grandma used to call me a fish because
Oh, really?
when we went when we had the opportunity to go to the sea, I would be in the sea immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And
so she would be like, Sahar, you're my fish, you're always in the sea. And then when I was 17 or so, which seems like a very long time ago now, I started sailing with my family.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was just such a wonderful experience.
Where was this? Are you English or?
I am English,
Yeah, okay.
Well, I'm British,
Yeah.
but I started sailing with my family in Norway.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it was, an experience which completely changed my view of the ocean.
Yeah.
And I'm yet to learn how to dive, but I think that
right.
may be the next step. I did a wonderful interview a few weeks ago now with a lovely partner in our project called Vasilis. He lives in Greece. And he was telling me about these amazing Posidonia meadows, seagrass meadows, that are very, very ancient. So they're very, very tall, and they're like a labyrinth, and you can swim through these labyrinths of Posidonia. And it just sounded so incredible.
Where are they?
They exist in Greece.
Oh, okay, right.
And I think they're called Poseidon's Meadows, actually.
Oh, wow,
Which is really very cool and interesting for me because I have this secret love of Greek mythology as well.
Oh, is it? All right.
It's a
Fantastic match.
Complicated mix that's going on in my brain, yeah.
And so you come from a research background, though, in clinical research?
Not clinical research.
Sorry.
It was a practical background in clinical pharmacy.
Oh, okay.
I was actually working in a hospital with a team of doctors and nurses.
That's quite the career move.
It's a very, very strange career path.
Yeah.
But it's been a very it's amazing because I love learning.
Yeah.
And there is no day that goes past in this job that I don't learn something new. So it makes my life amazing.
Cool. Do you have a typical day, or what does a typical day for you look like nowadays?
It's a good question. I suppose I don't have a typical day because we are part of all these projects. Then it's very much up to me to decide what I do with my time.
Yeah.
But we have certain tasks within these projects that SERE have agreed to take part in and lead.
Okay.
So my day can start at the coast in Klimarest.
Yeah.
It can go to the deep sea with redress, and it can end up with teaching and learning with another project, an Erasmus Plus project called Team Up.
Really cool.
So it's super varied.
Yeah.
And in the middle we have these amazing conversations with different people who are interested in SERE and what they're doing, or people who SERE would like to be collaborating with in the future. So it's
cool.
amazing, yeah, it's really...
Are you there permanently, or do you have, I don't actually know how NGOs employ people. Do you have a permanent position?
So we are project-based,
Yeah,
so as
okay.
long as we have projects coming in, then the position exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a very... it's revitalizing, I think, to have so much variation in your job.
Nice.
And
so that would be the next question. Do you like it? Do you like it?
Oh yeah. I love it. I love it. I really do. And
Fantastic.
I feel very honored to have had these, whatever skills they are that I have.
I'm sure you've mounted up a couple of skills over the years.
But I'm not very good at being very proud of my skills, I guess.
Oh,
but,
okay, yeah. Humble.
Yeah. Maybe. But whatever skills these are, then they have come very useful. And I'm very honoured that those skills are recognised.
Yeah.
It's very important because especially when you're working with researchers or in research, we've kind of it's become apparent that maybe sometimes the stuff on paper matters most, whereas actually there are skills which you pick up in other jobs or other professions that are very, very, very useful in an environment like this.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. It's,
I'm
honoured that somebody has recognised that.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure like all your soft skills that you've developed, they matter so much in a context like this, especially with the commission.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
to be able to develop relationships with people is so important. And especially things like from clinical pharmacy, the first thing that you're told is to understand how empathy works. Because in order to have a relationship with a patient, so that you can convince them to take these 18 new medicines that they've been prescribed after they've had a heart attack from 0 medicines 2 days before, you need to have some sort of level of understanding of how to be empathetic. And we're not going to be able to engage with any stakeholders unless we have some sort of empathy within our job. So I think number one, that is the skill that has come to me. But also, I mean, just knowing how to talk to people and but more so how to listen, really, and being interested in what they do and being willing to listen is also very important.
That's a skill right there.
Yeah.
So now, just because we're a bit pressed for time, this is the question that I ask everybody here. What is your favorite European sea?
That is such a difficult question.
You can name the top 3 if you like. or leave it if you don't want to pick favorites.
Okay, I would have to say top 3 then.
Yeah.
North Sea, because the coast of Norway is probably one of the most beautiful things to sail past.
All right.
That I've ever had the pleasure of experiencing. I'm not going to disregard all the others.
Yeah, exactly.
The Med, because it was where I learned to love the sea.
That's with your
where,
grandma.
where my grandma
fish,
told me that I was a fish. And repeatedly where she told me I was a fish. And maybe also the Baltic Sea.
Yeah?
Because I've never been there.
Yeah.
But I think it's an undervalued place.
I think so too. It's up there for me. The nature around it especially is fantastic. The coastline looks so beautiful.
I would love to explore another place that is amazing for sailing as well, but I think you need a few more coats to
is it so much colder?
The cold Baltic Sea rather than
Is it colder than the North Sea, you would say?
Well, it depends where in the North Sea you decide to go sailing. But no, not the places. But you'd be surprised. I mean, Norway can get to 30 degrees in the summer, and
you're right.
The water can be 20 degrees because we still, for the moment, have the Gulf Stream.
Nice.
So it can be quite idyllic sometimes. But maybe the Baltic is a bit cold.
Fantastic. The top 3. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And that's it already.
Want to dive deeper? Surf over to hifmb.de or follow us on Twitter at hifmb_OL.